We, in the past, have focused a lot on mom and dad, how to train up your children and how not to drive them nuts. Let us today focus on honoring father and mother, and we are going to focus in particular teenagers up to adult children. That does get a little bit tricky, doesn't it? Let us make our way through 14 ways you can honor your father and mother until you die. Number 14. We're doing this backwards. Do not think of them as equals.
Children, they obey their parents. Children honor their parents. The children are also taught. They're disciplined by their parents. They're instructed by their parents.
This concept is not limited to parent and child. This is how we are to esteem elders in our church. And the analogy is quite fascinating because it tells us if you're going to try to correct your pastor, treat them like you would a father. How are we to treat fathers? Honorably, as if they're actually older than us and deserving of high esteem. They're not peers. They're your parents. They're not equals. They're still wiser than you. Number 13, ask them to help your kids know they have good parents. If you'd like to honor your parents, ask them to get engaged in your parenting, and this particular way will benefit you. Hey, mom and dad, I want to make sure that my kids do a better job of honoring us than I actually have done with you. So would you please help us in that endeavor? And as you do, I'm going to work harder to do the very same thing for you. Thanks, Mom and Dad. We need your help. That honors them. Number 12, let them instruct your kids. When adult children don't even want their kids to hang around with their grandparents because, well, they just start teaching them stuff. Manners, behavior, being polite, perhaps working hard, doing things perhaps on a higher level in their home than you do in yours. Let them do it. Ask them to help you. Number 11, when you visit mom and dad, don't expect to be waited on. Help them. Your mother and father are not watrons. They are not just sitting at home longing for you to show up so they can wait on you hand and foot. Honor them by helping them. Number 10 way to honor your parents as an adult, do chores around the house for them without being asked. Hey, mom and dad, I'm going to be coming over on Saturday, so I'm taking care of the gutters. You can run and do whatever it is that you want to do. Oh, I can just hear the cacophony of complaints right now. Come on, I got my own gutters to clean out. I've got my own lawn to mow. I know I'm not telling you to become their servant, but are there ways that you could actually serve them? Number 9, call them for no reason at all. Number 8, drop in on occasion. Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, you give them a call, but how's about out of the blue, you are telling them without saying a word, I honor you, Mom and Dad. I like hearing your voice just because it's you. Number 7 way, don't shun or prohibit unsolicited advice. Don't judge us by picking up a nook and putting it back in our baby's mouth. We don't allow that here. If that is your attitude, which is all too pervasive in our society, guess what the Bible calls you? A fool. You should be soliciting advice, not rejecting it. Number 6, seek their wisdom on parenting and other major decisions.
Children are always to honor their mother and father, even when they're adults and out of the home. But once adults are outside of that child-parent context, they should seek the counsel of their mother and father. They should seek the counsel of their elders.
Please note, they will give more thoughtful, considered advice than any of your friends. I promise you, they will consider you as they consider your conundrum, because they love you more than anybody else on the planet. They've done this stuff before. Another way to honor your father and mother as an adult: speak well of them to them. You're great parents. You've been a wonderful mother. You're a terrific father. Dennis Rainey takes it a step further. Brace yourself for this one. The next time you get together for a family dinner or an event, why don't you write out a eulogy about them while they're alive? Cling, 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 cling. Everybody, I want to read something about our mother and father, and you eulogize them before they're in a casket. Number 4, speak well of them to everyone, whether they're alive or dead. Tell other people you got great parents. Now, maybe you're thinking, I didn't. There were things that they did well. There were things that they excelled in. Speak well of those things to others, particularly to siblings. It honors them. Number 3, assure them you will not abandon them in their old age.
When there are genuine needs of an aging parent, either physical or emotional, assuming the emotional needs does not supersede the leaving principle, that need is to be met, even if one spouse does not like the parent-in-law. Biblical love towards the aging parent is given based on choosing to do the loving thing.
Don't panic. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how we're going to pay for it. I don't know exactly what the living arrangement is going to look like. But just know this, I'm not going to vamoose. You're not going to be left high and dry. You're not going to starve in a drainage ditch. I got you, Mom and Dad. You know why? Because I honor you. Another way we can honor our parents. Number 2, provide financially for them. There was a little skirmish going on in a local church. Who's going to take care of those widows? Paul instructed Timothy, family first. Before the church picks up the tab, where are the kids? That means you and I should step to the front of the queue to be the ones who take care of our parents financially. Oh, I know. This bucks against the Western mindset where we store up a lot in our own piggy banks to take care of ourselves. But the Bible is clear. Forgive your parents and ask them for forgiveness. Yep, they sinned against you. Did I need to inform you of that? What is your response? Forgive them. Perhaps it's time to recognize, of course they failed you. Of course they weren't perfect parents. They're sinners. But we can forgive them, and we can move beyond the hurt. We can let the wounds heal. And I'm telling you, if you will start forgiving your parents, it is going to change your heart. Isn't it time, motivated by the grace shown to you, to offer that grace to your parents, and with humility to ask them for grace because you sinned against them too? Try it. You'll be honoring them, and I'm telling you, you watch your relationship flourish. Good morning, heathens. I'm your teacher, Mr.